Today we're diving into the wild and relentless world of hack and slash. But we're not talking about the giants everyone knows. Instead, we're looking at the underrated gems. The games that hit hard, fast, and deserve way more love than they get. Whether you're looking for deep combat systems, epic boss fights, or just want to hack through waves of enemies, there's something here for every fan. So grab your favorite weapon and let's get into it. Dante's Inferno is a game that takes you on a journey through the circles of hell, with each level getting progressively darker and more twisted. The combat is intense, very much in the vein of God of War, with big satisfying combos and brutal finishing moves. What really stands out is the art direction. Each circle of hell feels unique, with twisted visuals that are memorable. It's definitely on the darker side, but if you enjoy hack and slash with a heavy atmosphere, it's a game that'll stick with you. The Crusaders is a unique blend of hack and slash and real-time strategy, putting you in command of an army while letting you dive straight into the thick of battle. It's a game where you're not just fighting through hordes of enemies, but also managing your troops, planning attacks, and adapting to the battlefield. The hack and slash combat is fast and intense with combo-heavy action as you cut through enemy soldiers. What makes it stand out, though, is that strategic layer. It's challenging, but satisfying to lead your forces to victory. If you're a fan of the Berserk manga or anime, this game is a dream come true. It's got that gritty, dark atmosphere that makes Berserk unique, and mowing through waves of enemies as guts feels like nothing else. The gameplay is straightforward, hack and slash, but with enough combo variety to keep things fresh as you tear through hundreds of enemies with your massive sword. The story mode follows major arcs from the manga, which is a nice bonus, and it really leans into the chaos of battle. The game may not be super polished, but for fans of Berserk or dark fantasy, it's a must-try. Spartan Total Warrior takes you into epic large-scale battles, putting you in the sandals of a Spartan warrior against hordes of enemies. The combat is fluid, and you really feel like you're in the thick of a war, slicing through soldiers and even mythological creatures. The game isn't super complex, but it nails that battlefield chaos. If you're looking for a hack and slash with a historical twist, this is the one. Onimusha Warlords combines samurai action with a dark, supernatural story. The combat has a solid weight to it, with a focus on timing and precise moves. The atmosphere is tense, with eerie environments that make you feel like you're always on edge. It's a classic for a reason, and even though it's an older game, it still holds up pretty well. You should definitely check this one out, if you like the combination of horror and action. Blade of Darkness is a reboot of a classic that was way ahead of its time. You can feel the weight of each swing, and timing your attacks becomes crucial. The combat has a realistic feel, almost like Dark Souls but without being as punishing. You've got 4 characters to choose from, each with their own playstyle, so replaying it feels fresh. The game might not have the flashiest graphics, but it has this gritty, old-school vibe that works. If you're into hardcore, no-nonsense combat where you feel every hit, Blade of Darkness is worth a shot. Travis Strikes Again is a crazy ride, full of Suda51's signature weirdness. The gameplay might feel simple at first, but it's got a rhythm to it that feels surprisingly satisfying once you get into it. The game's got humor, strange mini-games, and a mix of retro and modern aesthetics that make it a real trip. The story might be hard to follow if you're new to the No More Heroes series, but it's more about the experience. Think of it as a hack-and-slash fever dream. Give it a shot if you're up for something unusual. Enclave is an older game, but it still has a unique charm. You can play as either the forces of light or dark, with each side having its own missions and characters. The combat isn't the deepest, but it's fun, especially with different weapons and spells to experiment with. The environments range from dungeons to open landscapes, adding some variety. Enclave may show its age, but for a classic, straightforward hack and slash, it's surprisingly engaging. Blades of Time mixes hack and slash combat with a unique time manipulation mechanic, letting you rewind time to fight alongside your past self. It adds a cool layer of strategy to the combat, making it more than just button mashing. The story is a bit thin, but the mechanics and environments are fun to explore. If you're looking for something a little different, Blades of Time is a hidden gem that can entertain you for hours.
My fellow citizens, first, I assure you that all necessary measures...
Mad World is one of the most stylish hack and slash games you'll find out there. Its black and white graphics with splashes of red make every fight feel brutal. The combat is bloody and satisfying, with tons of weapons and ways to creatively dispatch enemies. The story doesn't take itself too seriously, and that adds to the fun. Mad World is a visually unique and surprisingly gory hack and slash that very few people talk about. This game is pure, unapologetic fun. Marlow Briggs is one of those games that knows exactly what it is. A high-octane hack and slash with a bit of humor thrown in. You play as Marlow, a badass with a mystical mask, battling through jungles and ancient ruins. The combat is fast and fluid, kind of like God of War on a budget, but it totally works. It's not the longest or deepest game, but for a fun, action-packed few hours, Marlow Briggs delivers in spades. Heavenly Sword is one of those games that make you feel like the protagonist of an action movie. The story is emotional, the characters are memorable, and the combat has a satisfying flow. It's a bit short, but the experience is quality, especially for anyone who loves cinematic games. The fighting mechanics might seem simple, but they have a good rhythm, and the visuals still look decent today. Heavenly Sword is a short but powerful hack and slash that's definitely worth revisiting. you're a fan of over-the-top action, Ninja Blade delivers. The combat is flashy, with plenty of moves and quick-time events that make you feel like you're in an action movie. It's not the hardest game, but the style and sheer spectacle keep it entertaining. The boss fights are a highlight, with monstrous enemies that require quick reflexes. It's a bit of a hidden gem for fans of ninja action, and it deserves more recognition. This is where it all started for the Nier series. Nier has its quirks, graphics aren't the best, and some of the side quests can be a grind, but the story and atmosphere, just amazing. You play as a father trying to save his daughter in a world that's somehow both bleak and beautiful. The hack and slash gameplay is pretty smooth, and the boss fights are intense, but it's the story that keeps you hooked. It's dark, it's emotional, and if you can overlook a few rough edges, it's one of the most unique hack and slash experiences you'll find.
Rot in hell, you fucking asshole!
Did you just say what I think you said?
This game is like Diablo meets sci-fi, with plenty of action to keep you coming back. You get to choose from different classes, each with their own abilities, and the combat is fast-paced, with a ton of enemies to hack your way through. It's especially fun with friends, as the missions get progressively harder and you can really strategize with your team. Kill Squad might not have the deepest story, but if you're looking for a pure action experience that is just mindless fun, it's a great pick.
Sweet Lord, I have never heard such a thing.
And these were the 15 most underrated hack and slash games that are absolutely worth your time. Whether you're looking for gritty realism, fast-paced chaos, or something totally out of the box, these games bring a lot to the table and deserve a place in any hack and slash fan's library. If you've played any of these hidden gems, or have your own underrated favorites, drop them in the comments. Thanks for watching Nerds Games. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you enjoyed this list. Catch you in the next video, and as always, keep gaming.